And welcome to Positive Vibes. There we go. Get the mic a little closer. Welcome to Positive Vibes. This week's episode of Positive Vibes. Making positivity and gratitude louder in a podcast world. Sorry, my head was off somewhere else right then. Just a moment here. I just want to give a little shout out to, first off, I want to give a little shout out to Good Vibes Espresso. The similarity between the names Positive Vibes, my podcast, and Good Vibes Espresso. A local coffee shop, Good Vibes Espresso. I've been following them on following their page on Instagram for a while now, and I don't know, we connected on Instagram, and I forget exactly how. They might have liked one of my posts or followed me or something like that, and anyway, I started following them. Been wanting to get there and just say, hey, what's up, and get a cup of coffee for a few months now, and finally made it out there yesterday morning. And it was a great cup of coffee. Thank you, Sydney. And, it's, just a local coffee roaster, Delano's Coffee. That's what brand they serve, and it's excellent, and I've always liked it. And so that works out great, and it's just like, yesterday I gave them a shout out on, Instagram and Facebook, and, connected with them that way, became friends with a couple of people that are connected with them and on social media. And then I went back this morning to get some more Good Vibes Espresso, which I poured into my coffee cup here. Just an Americano with oat milk. Excellent. And it's like, just connecting with the community, be it locally. Well, I've been connecting with the community on both the large scale and the local scale here this week. I placed another ad on social media, and that's doing, seems to be doing excellent. Reached a lot more people than I thought it would that first couple days actually. And so at any rate, I'm just, amazed at, where that's going, right? Where that, how I'm able to connect with the worldwide community as well as the local community on social media and out in the world. It's just like, wow, it's cool stuff. I mean, I'm just speaking from my personal experience, coming from where I come from. It's just amazing. I'm just grateful for all of it. With that, I'm guessing I'm just going to continue reading out of my book here, my autobiography, Live the Passionate Life and Quit Settling for Survival. Let's see here. Where did I go? Stop. Oh, okay. I'll just go back a paragraph just to catch up. I went through a couple more jobs over the next 2 years, trying to get back into the work mode and bring some more money to the table. On my third night at one of those jobs, another restaurant where I washed dishes, the place was extremely busy with multiple high school sports banquets at once, me being the only dishwasher at the time. I got totally overwhelmed, and it seemed like every time I scrubbed one dish, 20 more dirty ones were brought into the dish pit. This went on for about 2 hours. The kitchen manager eventually came over to me and told me I was moving entirely too slow and just to get out of there. So I left. For the rest of the night and the next couple of weeks, I was feeling more depressed than usual. I felt like I was a total failure. My performance at work on my last night at that job totally sucked, and then it was thrown in my face as I was berated and kicked out the door. I tried to find a job I could do that was not as physically taxing as working in a restaurant, but to no avail. I even went to an agency of the state that supposedly helps people with disabilities find and keep employment, but I was sent packing. Apparently, I may have misunderstood the question when the guy speaking to the group of us newbies asked, "Is there anyone here who is not ready to go to work right now if I had a job lined up for you?" I raised my hand as I had a doctor's appointment to go to later that day. He said to all of us that raised our hands, "You can go then. We only work with people that want to and are ready to work now." So I just went back home and got back to the drawing board, racking my brain to come up with something I could do other than sit idly by while life passed me by. Sure, I was engaged and we had an apartment. I was clean and sober and had a spiritual connection to God. I was still going to meetings and being of service in the fellowship. I had many friends and a lot of family members. I could still ride my bicycle everywhere I went. I had so very much to be grateful for. Yet something big was still missing, and I could not put my finger on it. At the beginning of 1999, I was given an ultimatum by my fiancée. I was to have a job or at least a better source of income by July. This did not happen, so she left. I was devastated. I had tried and failed. I had tried a few different avenues and ran into dead ends. Now even the woman I wanted to spend my life with had left me. I could have given up, but giving up is just not something I would do. I took in a succession of roommates who did not work out for one reason or another, trying to save my apartment. At one point, though, I did help out a friend who was new in recovery and needed a place to stay. She found out she was pregnant when she was being seen for a checkup. She had a source of income, so she was always able to pay her share of the rent and bills, which was nice. We became very close friends. She opted to deliver her baby at home, and when the midwife came to deliver when it was time, I was the person whom my friend chose to cut her son's umbilical cord. There were about 10 or 15 of our friends there as well, including a friend of mine who had been crashing on my couch. My couch crashing friend was an avid photographer and had the night off from his job, so he was taking pictures of the event taking place that night. That night was definitely something awesome to experience, to witness a new life coming into the world and even being a participant in the process. Not too long after my friend gave birth to her son, she started going out with a guy and moved in with him. My resident photographer moved on along as well, his journey taking him elsewhere. Those two friends had always paid their portion of the bills, but other roommates did not. When I would be short of the full amount needed to pay my bills, my dad was always there to help me out. Toward the end of the year 2000, I let my pride get in the way of letting anybody know that I was in need of help. As a result, I ended up getting 3 months behind on all my bills and being presented with an eviction notice on the door of my apartment when I got home one day. I had 3 days to figure out what my next move would be. I had been chatting online with a lady for a few months, and we were hitting it off pretty well. I packed up a large duffel bag with clothes and some stuff I did not want to let go of, and went to be with this lady since it was my best option at that point, at least in my mind. I stayed with her for a short while, and we decided that it was not working out, and the best option was just for me to leave. A couple of days after I got there, it came about that she was also to be evicted from her place. Her best option was to move in with a good friend of hers. This plan did not include me, so I called my stepmom and asked her if there was any way she could help me out. Actually, back it up. There was a space in there. I ended up being being there with this lady, like, staying with this lady and being with her, like, I don't know, 2.5 months. So I don't know, there was a space in there. And I forgot to put that in here. Or just skipped over it. Anyway, her best option was to move in with a good friend of hers. This plan did not include me, so I called my stepmom and asked her if there was any way she could help me out. She was remarried at this point, living in Puyallup, Washington. I made it to her house, and I lived there for about 3.5 months, during which time I had gotten involved in the local 12-step fellowship. At the first meeting I attended in Puyallup, I met a beautiful young woman who was to one day be my wife. From the moment I first laid eyes on her, I sensed a connection to her. While I was living there in Puyallup, a bunch of people that went to the meetings I was going to were having a camp out about 30 miles to the south at a lake near Mount Rainier. I had bought a new $80 special mountain bike at Target. I picked up some cheap camping gear, tent, sleeping bag, camp stove, etc., with my stepmom's help. All of my friends were driving there, but being the crazy cyclist I am, I opted to ride my bike up to the campout. Here I was, a crazy cyclist, riding up toward the mountain on the shoulder of the highway, wearing a backpack that was stuffed with clothes, personal items, and food. On the rack which was attached to the back of my bike, I had saddlebags with more stuff and my tent, sleeping bag, and pillows strapped on top. I was set. Whoever says one can't go places and do things on a bicycle, my legs and my spirit beg to differ, since they tell a completely different story. I got about a mile from the campground when I took a break on the side of the road, not knowing that I was just about to my destination. One of my buddies, who was also going to the campout, came along in his truck and asked me if I needed a ride the rest of the way. Not knowing that I was almost there, I accepted the ride. That campout was so much fun. I didn't ride my bike around the campground at all, of course, since I had just cycled 30 miles of an uphill grade and did not feel like riding very far at all for a while. It was just really cool just to be in the forest on a lakeside, just experiencing nature with friends, sitting around a campfire